Good evening, everybody. So just want to check with Noah first if everything is okay. Maybe some light. So thank you. Thank you for being here with us. And also to say hi to all people in Zoom and this online angle. Thank you for joining us for the whole month. Really appreciate that you are interested to explore this topic of liturgy and form in Zen. So today it is our first day of the whole month of practice. Maybe you are adjusting into the schedule, into the rhythm of the day, and then it's changing, like at the noon sit, 12:20, and then now it's 12. So you have to be more, pay attention and be aware. And for the priest, we need to wear our robes, full robes, because we have a service. So start all these little details to help our practice. And I'm gonna do introduction, just talking in general, what does it mean for me, for myself, the rituals in Zen, and the services, the ceremonies. The title for this talk is The Power of Mystery of Zen Rituals. And exactly, I don't remember when we came with the theme for this angle. Maybe it was 1 year ago, and last spring, something like that, and talking with Monshin about the theme, and then I said, why not we study the living by vow? And then we talked, or to try to explain the chantings that we do and our services. They can be very helpful to people in home and also for the residents, why we are doing this practice in this certain way. And then it came the topic, the theme. And for me, it's important to preserve the tradition, certain ways of the tradition, where to understand where it's coming from, but most why we are doing these things in certain way, and to find the upaya, the skillful means of the forms of the practice of Zen. What is interesting in Zen, we think, oh, Zen is formless or chordless, and then a lot of no in Zen. No, not to be attached to anything. And how is the paradox? And Zen we do a lot of rituals, a lot of forms. But that's the game. That's the plan, to go through the form to find formless. So that is the key of why we are doing all those things. So, and we are going to, this month, with big landscaping and different views, different perspectives of the Zen rituals and forms. And we are going to talk about chanting, bowing, specific forms, specific tests, the gate of sweet nectar. And you will see ceremonies here. We are going to do Yukai in the middle of Ango, and also Hoshi, another ceremony, combined. Great opportunity to bearing witness of one of the earliest ceremonies in Buddhism, to receive the precepts or taking refuge. And also we are going to do the gate of sweet nectar and Fusatsu as well. So if you see the whole day from the beginning, we start ritualizing the day. So when we wake up, we come to this end and we open out with the verse of the atonement. All my ancient twisted karma from beginningless greed, hate, and delusion, born of body, speech, and mind, I now fully atone. To remember the three marks of existence. There was really those marks of existence doesn't allow us or the three poisons. There are the three poisons of the mind. Those three poisons doesn't allow us to wake up. So the three poisons, greed, hate, and delusions. And then we end with the evening verse. Let me respectfully remind you, life and death are supreme importance. Time passes swiftly by and opportunities lost. Let us awaken, take heed. Do not squander your life. Just to remember, it's a cycle. Every day we do this Zen circle. We come, we wake up with atonement, and we end just to remember to continue practicing. And my experience with Zen rituals and ceremonies, for some of us, we like the craft of Zen. We like the aesthetic of Zen. We like the form. We like the Japanese culture where this Zen practice comes from. And then, we love it. We love in the ropes. We love in the way how we walk. And then for some of us, we don't like them. Some of us, we have this kind of aversion, resistance. And this why am I doing this? I know Japanese. That's the first thought that we have. I know Asian, this is very old thing. I am wearing robes from 1200s of Japan, the medieval Japan. So, and then why? So, and we had this resistance to the forms, to rituals. And some of us, we get attached. And the big trap, and this is to think these robes or shaved head or dressing black is the Zen. If I not do it that way, I'm not doing Zen. Sometimes we get into that. I'm not gonna do my practice because I don't have Safu or Sabuton. Or I don't have the right bell. Or I don't have the Samway, the working cloth. So we go into that trap, and it's not. So in the rituals and ceremonies, we have, just as a human beings, we are just drawn into that. Some of them that are secular in our society, like at the inauguration day when we elect a president. Big rituals and big ceremonies. And usually it's in January, or go to a football, to a soccer match or for American football, any sport, huge event, very ritualistic. We get the T-shirt of the team. We had uniform. And then we chant a mantra, when say goal or touchdown. So all this is collective. And that's a ceremony. That's a ceremony right there, And I love baseball, and then baseball has a lot of rituals there. Since just the hitter comes to the box, and the way how swings and some ticks they do, and then stand back, and then in and out, all this repetition. And the seventh inning is when everybody stands up in the stadium, and there is a song. So that is a ritual. It's a secular. And as a religion, one thing for me that brought my attention, I'm going to tell you a story that I was doing a teenager retreat in San Francisco, in the north of San Francisco, and a mindfulness retreat, a secular retreat for teens, and we were in a Tibetan center near to Casadero, Tibetan center, and we went there, and they allow us to use a hall, just a meditation hall. We don't use the main temple; it's just a side hall. And then during one of the activities, one of the staff members, he suggests, why not we show to the teams the temple, the Tibetan temple of the center. And we call this workshop Trip to Tibet, no? And then I was the only priest, and they chose me to be part of it, of guiding tour of the Tibetan temple, and then I thought, like, nobody's gonna go to sign now into that workshop to see a Tibetan temple, no, and talking about religion. And I was skeptical that workshop or that 1 hour and a half was some teens that were gonna sign up. There were hiking, there were different activities. So I thought they were more interesting for them. Anyway, we have almost 50% or 60% of the whole teams to sign up for that. And okay, so they allow us to go into the Tibetan temple, and as you have been in a Tibetan temple, it's very colorful and so many statues. And then we went, and then thanks to somebody from there joined us, so she was explaining more everything, the tankas and all these statues. Some of them I know, some of them no. And then what for me was fascinating, it was that they were so curious, so interesting to learn about Tibetan Buddhism. And then I participate with some explanation about Buddhism, and then we did prostrations. We did 9 prostrations in the temple. And they were very happy to do the prostrations. And then we did, how do you feel in your body, and things like that. Well, yeah, I feel humble, I feel this, I feel gratitude, and so forth. These kids. And I was surprised, because I was skeptical. I said, people don't like religion. But I saw, wow, the new generation is looking for something that we have been lost through generations, especially here in this country that is quite new, over 200 years old, and coming from Europe, and not to miss with the natives that were here. And now we are picking out many, many different traditions, because we are in this melting pot of diversity. And that I saw, wow. So that for me is important for me to and it's not, I'm gonna say more about this, what is it? It's not a blind faith from the same perspective. But I felt like there is a need as a human being to believe, and to believe in something. You can put high power, but just the fact of believe, and just the fact of believing, the verb believing, to have that. And another piece that for me is interesting, it is in our DNA, like I said yesterday. These kind of ritualistic events as a human beings, it's in our DNA to come together, to come as a human beings together, and to commemorate or to mark or to celebrate something that is important to us. Because that's when we get the connection. I don't know if you know, but What's I mean about this DNA? If you observe to a dog before to go to sleep, what usually the dog does? He does enso, she does ensos. No, he's walking, and then lie down. Why? Because in his DNA, what he's looking for is if there is no snakes or any other animal, they can, get bite by small animals. And then when there is in the living room, there is no snakes or, or anything like that, or raccoons or foxes or something like that. But it's DNA of the animal. Do that kind of ritualistic lie down practice. So for us, it's the same. For us, it's the same when we meet somebody into the eye and we bow. And then we bring in that from Asian, the bowing, the gacho. The gesture of bringing the palms together. And this very simple gesture is the whole teaching. Because it's about bringing the opposite to one. We symbolize the oneness of myself, and the oneness where I am meeting into. So when I meet somebody, I bow and recognize, his or her Buddha nature, that connection, and just that simple act. So many things that we do here is with that intention. All those bells, all the communication. And for me, those bells is communicating intimacy between us. So anyway, so in Zen, here the practice in Zen, another religion, we have a God or a higher power. But in Zen, we don't have God. So why we are doing these things? We are not worshiping. And then, like I say at the beginning, the ritual of the ceremony is a skillful mean. It's the finger pointing to the moon. So, and also we need to be careful or aware, this is the word, to be aware when a ritual or a ceremony is necessary. Like at this temple is so beautiful. Just look around. It has built so much beauty. It's a beautiful space to create a ritual, to harmonize with what we are doing here. So imagine here sitting or coming here with pajamas, with shorts, and different colors. It's okay, we can still do Zen. That's okay. But maybe we get a little distracted by checking around. Oh, that's nice t-shirt. No? Or what is your teacher there, those slogans. So, but we uniform to really match. It's about harmony. It's the harmonizing. So maybe like myself, sometimes I do Zazen in the park. I realized we were dressing just raksus with my Sangha, and new people come and they feel, I think the word is annihilated, like separated from us, because they didn't have the raksu. And also every Sunday I had to talk about the priestess, because every new person will ask me about the raksu. And that started becoming distracted. And the raksu became a little not welcoming to the group. And then I said to my people, I said, no Raxus. We come just as regular clothing. Some of them, they were happy, some of them, they were unhappy because they wanted to wear some ways. Anyway, but we have our sendo, finally, and then we start building up little by little the forms because it's appropriate, but also it's functional. It's functional it's practical, to live this sendo in a very dignified and ordered way, and instead just to jumping into the etsek like a buffaloes, Yeah. And then, so coming back to this practice, to these rituals and ceremonies that we do. So if we don't have a God, what is the point to do this? And we have an altar. There is altar behind of me. It's a reference point for us. But for me, the altar is just a mirror. A mirror. So when we bow, when we do prostrations, we do the procession directions to the altar. But at the same time, we are recognizing your Buddha nature, recognizing your awakened mind, recognizing the completion, that we are complete, that nothing is missing. So when we do this as a group, we are recognizing this interbeing, this is relationship. When we're stepping up into the cushion for service, so we bow to the altar and we put our hands in different mudra and we bow to the person across of me. Just to recognize and to say thank you for showing now because it's supporting my practice. And that connection, that relationship. And we come into the chant. And the chant is not about performance. We are not doing some kind of presentation or theatrical. No, we are chanting wholeheartedly, listening our own voice, and at the same time harmonizing with everybody. Everybody can sing equal. They become just one body. Just one body. And that way, if we can really lose ourselves, or I say the cell is just melting in the ceremony itself, there is a lot of freedom right there. That's what all these rituals is to really point it out. There's no separation, and they point it out really into this concept of emptiness, of this boundlessness. But when we come into this, we see everything that is in our minds. We see it clearly. We see our anger, we see our grief, or we see our excitement or joy. The illusion that I am awake, that I am doing right. And then all this, everything that is coming, that creates this ignorance, that creates us not to feel connected, not to experience that connection. We'll see it there. We'll see in the complaining mind. We see the mind is bored. Oh, we are doing again the chant. Yeah. Or we see the mind that is not here. Yesterday it was my first service, when I came. And then because all those things is most in my body, I do many things just in autopilot sometimes. That when I was standing up here, I had to check if I had the sagu, because I didn't remember when I put it in. But my body, it's just, those who are priests, they will know that your left hand is heavier than the right hand because you have this sago. You are aware of it. And when you don't feel that way, where is my sago? And those little things is just to bring your attention into the present moment. So we see that. And there have been moments here in the temple with some residents cry in the middle of the service. And then later we check, oh, what happened? Are you okay? Well, I just hear the maid chanting, the maid chant or the word together. We wake up together, awakening together. Little phrases that are there, they really touch their hearts. So that's what this practices that we are doing it, is to realize that. To realize that. I'm going to share another story. This is one of my favorite stories. And when I talk about forms and Zen, about rituals. And then this story comes from Anthony de Mello, in one of the books of Anthony de Mello. He was a Jesuit, Indian Jesuit priest, and well known in Latin America in the 80s. And one of his books is saying, this is the story of saying, let me tell you how the rituals came. And then he used a monastery, a Zen monastery. He said there were the monks sitting in Zazen, and say in the afternoon, 5:30, everybody was sitting, and suddenly a cat showed up in the middle of the center. And the cat, it was just wandering around, and sitting here, sitting there, lie down here and there. So and the abbot saw that and talked to the monks and say, hey, because every time there was a Zen, that cat was showing up, and then so the abbot say, let's cut the cat, put in a leash, and put it into the corner. And so anyway, so it was coming Zazen 5:30, and then so 4:45 there was the monks tried to chasing the cat and cutting the cat and put it in a leash and put it into the corner. And that was that every time they were doing Zazen. Some monks they were cutting the cat and putting the leash and putting into the corner. So the abbots died, and then the senior monks they went to different temples, and new generation came. But when new people they were coming, they were saying, "What is that cat is there in that corner?" and say, "Well, I don't know. Maybe the cat has some power. Then maybe quiet the mind for the monks, Say, well, okay, maybe." So they were doing something. And that was day by day, it was like that. And then finally, one day, so the monks, the new generation of monks or residents, they were trying to find the cat. And suddenly they found the cat dead. And it was dead, the cat. And then the monks, they were very worried about it. So they went and they running into the abbot's house and say, master, what happened? Say, we cannot do Zazen. And the master say, why? Because the cat is dead. And then the abbot say, well, go and buy a cat and put it into the leash and put it into the corner. So this is what we need to be aware of the cat. Not to confuse the forms. Not to confuse if we don't chant in Japanese, we are not doing the practice. or if you are not wearing black, not to confuse the cat. So the rituals, like I say, are for to see your mind, to see your Buddha nature, to see the selfless, the non-self. And the practice, the forms, what is so interesting, and through our journey, because we can see, and also we can see our perfection and mind, the perfectionist. We can see that, and we can see many habits through the forms, and also we can see our attachment to the form. And then the attachment to the form is when you need to buy the cat and put into leash and put into the corner. That is the attachment. And also through the journey of doing this practice in this form, you could see when the form tied to you, to make you tight, to make tense. And that is a good practice to see why you get tense, why you are holding it. Because the form, it's about letting go. It's about freedom. And also the form is about a lot of embodiment. It's really bodily practicing. But it's mind and body together. Mind and body. Not only just the body. It's mind and body. And so when we are doing the practice, there's going to be a moment that you can see that freedom. You can see what these forms are for, why they are so important. That's what's so important as a priest, to shave your head. And what is so important to come to a Dharma talk with your robes. Maybe in the beginning you feel like a little kid in elementary school that you have to use the uniform. But for me, it helps me to use these robes when I am in front of you. Something does to my personality. If I come in shorts or pajamas, or will be different. It really reminds me, especially reminds me the lineage, make it grounded, humble, and then just come here to do my best and to serve. So the forms is, we can see when the personality goes attached. And then we call the stinky Zen, And I was there. Don't worry, everybody goes through that gate. But that's the practice, that's the journey. So I'm sorry that I was just talking to specific, the setting of this place, or the setting of a temple. But as a lay practitioner, when we don't have a temple, when we don't have a sangha, even that we can do this practice, we can ritualize or practice in the minimum way. At least we can offer incense, or to have a nice flowers, create a space that really is very supported. It's very supportive to sit in the formal way. As you know, and then there are so many, besides of the religious part, there are ceremonies. We have the tea ceremony. It comes from Zen, from the monasteries. So maybe here we have the culture of coffee. We can do a coffee ceremony. It's not joking, just really pay attention. when you do your coffee in the morning. And if you can do just one thing, not to go to the newspaper, not to go to the phone, not to go to anything, just drink your coffee and feel it, the warmth of the coffee, the smelling, you know, or to walk in your neighborhood. So we do a lot of things repetitive. We have our routines. What makes it ritual is our awareness. We do so many things, but we are not aware that we are doing it. So if you are aware, if you bring this practice or this mindfulness, this attention, become ritualistic, become a ritual. You know, the ritualistic of just finish your meal and clean your dishes right away. No pile it on the sink. And make it this cleaning as a process of mindfulness practice, of samo, and ritualize that simple act. So, and step by step, if you realize you can build your own practice, what Dogen taught us or is teaching us is to see that every activity is a sacred, every activity is a practice. So you don't necessarily, you need to be, in a monastery to do that. Just from your home. We have a schedule. If we really stick into the schedule, we say the schedule is the Dharma. And those who are in Zoom and home, you do as much as you can to show up for the activities that we are doing. And we have support of the talks, support of the Dokusan, of one-on-one interviews. And then we have opportunity to study. And all this, but if we bring this dignified attention into our activities, that's what makes it ritualistic. And plus the deep connection, because here is about connection. Because when we found the connection, we found this sunyata, this interbeing, is when the compassion comes. That the compassion comes. And that's what we need to get along in this world. Is the compassionate part. Wisdom and compassion. We wake up, have wisdom, but our actions become compassionate actions. We care. And then in this part of we care is we start learning to care ourselves first, to build this relationship with ourselves, because that is what we see it in the form. My sloppy mind show up, my laziness mind show up, my boredom mind show up. We say my defilements show up. Okay, how can I make friends with us? And start integrating myself, not to deny, not just to pay attention to just one thing. No, the other thing too. And to bring it together. And then to feel this completion, this complete being, this wholeness. And that we start caring for the other. And we start with people around us. We don't have to have a big projects. If you have these resources, great, but not just in your place that you are. The people close to you. And Roshi remind us, I think it was this morning, about this bodhicitta practice. That's the whole path. We are doing this to wake up, but not as a self-clinging. It's just to wake up for the benefit of others. And when I wake up, I can help others to wake up. That's what we are here for. Thank you.